And this is the moment where I am absolutely. I don't have tinfoil here, unfortunately, but if I had tinfoil, I would be putting on the tinfoil hat. Because either Stephanie White is incompetent, either Stephanie White is completely incompetent, or she's sabotaging the team. Either way, she needs to be fired. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, it is as simple as that. This was the embarrassing loss. This is the worst loss since the 1-8 start. And I don't even think any of the losses in the 1-8 start were this bad. Like, because you could see the team was going somewhere. You could see the team progressively getting better. Maybe the two 50-point losses to the fucking Liberty. Maybe those two 50-point losses. Okay. But, like, this is, like, the Fever were destroyed. Like, they didn't even attempt to run a Caitlin Clark and a Leah Boston pick and roll. They didn't even attempt to do it. They didn't attempt it. And that's on the coach. When you are not attempting, when you're not attempting to do what is seen by many as your most deadly weapon. Why? Because you got spooked. You got spooked. Caitlin turned it over once and you got spooked. You went down and you got spooked. You got spooked. You were 8-2 up after 2 minutes and sent 3 players from the bench. You sent 3 players from the bench to come back down and sub on for 3 starters. 2 minutes into the game. You had set. Caitlin Clark got pulled after 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So did Leah Boston. You were 8-4 up. You sent them to the scorer's table earlier than that. You wanted to pull 3 of your starters after 2 minutes. And what happened? 15-2 run. 15-2 run. 1 field goal made. 1 field goal made between the time when you took Caitlin Clark off after 3 minutes and 2 minutes into the second quarter. 1 field goal made. And it was a Raven Johnson runner, who, by the way, they didn't guard Raven Johnson. I don't think people realize that. They did not guard Raven Johnson. So what happens? Another team tries to guard Raven Johnson. Or another team doesn't want to guard Raven Johnson and leaves Raven Johnson wide open. Do you use Raven Johnson as a screener, as a cutter? Try to use the gravity or the fact that no one's looking at her to try to get her some easy looks? Or do you leave Raven Johnson standing on the perimeter chucking threes, which is what the other team wants? No, Raven Johnson stood on the perimeter chucking threes. It is what it is. Ty Harris comes on the floor then for Raven Johnson. Doesn't matter. We're gonna leave Ty Harris shooting threes. Ty Harris shot 5 threes. 1 of 5. Fucking damn to shit. And then what happens then on the defensive end? Let's not even get started on the defensive end. You were soft. I literally came into the game saying the Indiana Fever, and the good thing is when it comes to Caitlin Clark, is that there are players that she can guard on the Portland Fire team. As long as she doesn't have to guard Carla Late. But you soft switched and made her guard Carla Late every single possession. And if she wasn't guarding Carla Late, she was guarding Megan Gustafson. She was either guarding a center or she was guarding a guard that is too quick for her. I'm going to be honest. Carla Late's too quick for nearly anybody. She was being left on an island where it's either give up an open layup or foul. No help, nothing. And then your idea of help is running with your center, having your center run up and blitz the ball for some reason while nobody else knows what's going on and leaving Meg Gustafson open for a layup. It was pathetic. It was pathetic on both ends of the floor tactically. They then go into a zone. Caitlin Clark's in foul trouble. They go into a zone. And what do? When Caitlin Clark comes back on the floor, they immediately go out of the zone. The first possession, Caitlin comes back on the floor. She gets switched on to Carla Late and gets called for a phantom foul. Because you go out of the zone. You don't want to hide Caitlin. You don't want to hide anybody. And by the way, they were picking on Caitlin because she was in foul trouble. And they didn't want Caitlin to get into a rhythm. And Caitlin's a rhythm player. She always has been. I've always said this. if you need to give Caitlin lots of touches and lots of touches quick. What does she do? Caitlin Clark has 2 points and 3 assists in the first fucking 2 minutes of this game. What does she do then? They go on this massive run. Caitlin does turn the ball over early in the second quarter. She turned it over early in the second quarter. She got spooked and then ran Caitlin Clark decoy the rest of the game. She ran Caitlin fucking decoy. And then suddenly is expecting a rhythm player to make shots when she touches the ball. Caitlin doesn't like shooting out of rhythm. Caitlin, her assists come in bunches. You can't take over a game if you don't have the ball. And the worst part is that they were double and triple teaming Caitlin Clark every time she touched it. And what did the Indiana Fever coaching staff do? They were double and triple teaming her. So, do they, A, use the gravity from the double and triple teams and try to draw something up to find a way to get open layups off hockey assists? Or do they, B, say, Caitlin, go stand in that corner? They said, Caitlin, go stand in that corner. They said, Caitlin, go stand in that corner. This was from the early subs to the defense that clearly was not going to work. Like Raven Johnson, I feel so bad for Raven Johnson. She fouled out in 9 minutes on the play. But I'm sorry, I'm playing, sorry. Like, they targeted Raven Johnson. Raven Johnson's the best defender on this team. They literally targeted Raven Johnson. This is literally what they did. They would walk into a switch, have Raven Johnson on either Emily Engstler or Meg Gustafson, dump the ball into them, and Raven Johnson's not going to give them anything easy. And with these referees, every time it's a foul. And suddenly then, it's like, okay, Raven's on 3 fouls. She can't foul anymore. Let's go at her. Let's start going at Raven. They targeted Raven Johnson. They targeted Raven on defense. How bad, schematically, do you have to be defensively as a coach for Raven Johnson, your best defender, to be the player that is targeted by the other team? How badly do you have to be schematically for another team to target your best defender? I watched that. There was a high-low where Raven Johnson was guarding Emily Engstler on the free throw line. This is not like a thing. They ran 3 screens. They ran a weak side screen where Meg Gustafson ran a pin down for, I think it was Sarah Ashley Barker, to go to the corner. They switched it. They literally switched a weak side pin down. And suddenly, Emily Engstler's there on the free throw line with Raven Johnson guarding her, and Kelsey Mitchell's getting pinned by Meg Gustafson for an open layup. It is one of the most pathetic performances I think I have ever seen from a coach. And like, it's bad enough that I'm like, I always said I didn't like Stephanie White as a coach for Caitlin Clark. And I've been like that from about game 3 of last year. Game 2 of last year, after the Atlanta game when she took Caitlin off the ball. I've been like that extremely early. I have not loved Stephanie White as a coach for Caitlin. But I've said, based on the playoff run, based on everything, she's earned a season. She has earned a season to try and make it work. And I'm sorry. Like, the Indiana Fever are going to be bad at basketball. You can be bad, but you have to be fun. Like, you can be bad and fun. Like, how is it that the Portland Fire, we are now in a situation where the Portland Fire are 6-4 and beat you in everything, in every way. And I'm sorry, like, if Stephanie White just wants to go and not play any structure, not care who has the ball, whoever's open shoots, all of this thing, let's run side to side on offense and let's just wing it on defense. Let's just try win an ugly game. Okay, cool, you trade Caitlin Clark. You can't win ugly with Caitlin Clark on your team. I'm sorry. I hate saying this, but there is absolutely a level of like responsibility that comes with coaching the team that gets 3 times more viewers than any other team. You cannot play to win. You cannot tactically try to win ugly. You have to at least be. You can't be shit and be boring. You can't be both. You can be bad as long as you are a fucking box office. You can be mediocre. And by shit, I mean sub 500. What you can't be is sub 500 and puke ball. Because the scary thing is that you watch these games and there are fun teams in the WNBA. Unfortunately, the fun teams in the WNBA appear to be the ones playing against the Fever. They appear to be the ones that are like modern basketball, that play hard, that bought into versatility, The Indiana Fever bought into, okay, we're going to go and make this as old school as possible. We're going to make this as old school WNBA as humanly possible. And it's just not fucking working. And someone's got to go. Whether it's Kelsey Mitchell, whether it's Caitlin Clark, whether it's Stephanie White and the front office, because they're a package deal. We know that the coaching staff is in its entirety, the front office are all a package deal. You either fire everybody or you trade Caitlin. And it's at the stage now where if Aaliyah goes down injured, or you trade Kelsey Mitchell, you trade one or two. That backcourt does not work. It just does not work. And the way they're trying to rotate the two of them does not work. The Indiana Fever have to make a choice. You either, because Caitlin Clark still will attract the biggest trade package of any player in the WNBA. You have to make a choice. Do you put together a team to succeed with Stephanie White as a coach, or do you put together a team to succeed with Caitlin Clark as your main offensive player? You can't do both. You can't do both. You have to make a choice. And it's probably easier to do it in season than out of season. Because I'm sorry, if Caitlin Clark goes and continues to struggle like this, and the Indiana Fever continue to be bad, that trade package becomes worth less and less. And to be honest, as a fan of Caitlin Clark, I hope the Fever have to give her up for pennies on the dollar. I hope they have to give her up for pennies on the dollar, honestly. Because this is really bad. This is really, really, really bad. Yeah.